The migrant crisis in Africa, especially in the oceans, has deepened with the dangerous crossings from West Africa to Europe. You see, climate change and warming of the oceans has led to some fishermen opting to use their pirogues to transport people to the Canary Islands to get some money for survival. I spoke to Borso Tall, who is a journalist and an Ocean Reporting Network fellow with Pulitzer Centre, who has written a story on this crisis. Borso, thank you for joining me. Before we get into Ibrahim's story, what first drew you to this issue of fishermen risking their lives across the Atlantic?
This whole situation of irregular migration caught my attention mainly because of the silence around it for a very long time. Meaning, communities were counting their deads without major news aside from, so and so, the number of people died, no names, just migrants. And I was saddened by the fact that humanly, feeling that sadness when meeting the families and just interviewing them and understanding that they only had hope for their sons and daughters to make it to Europe, but instead, the ocean was swallowing them pretty much. I think that's what drew me to it, that human side of it.
You've spent time on Senegal's coastline. Can you paint us a picture of what daily life looks like for these fishermen now compared to a few years ago?
Yes, it has changed dramatically, meaning before everything happened at the shore. And for everyone, not just for the fishermen, for the women drying the fish, waiting for their husbands to come back with loads and loads of different types of fish, to the beggar. I remember, and this is what I want to share with you. I remember riding a bus in Saint Louis with this woman, trying to get closer to the shore. I was quite far, so I took the bus to get faster and closer. And by my side, there was this woman preparing to go to the seaside, and she was going there to beg for fish. And she told me literally, before it was not about begging. I would come, say hi to the people that I knew, and stay by the side until they finish, even before they finished unloading, they would give me the fish that I needed to go back home. But now she had to wait, and almost made it look more like she's begging for fish than she's actually waiting for someone to give her. So this mindset of charity is something that's new to the picture that we have of what fishing communities look like now. Fish has become scarce. Communities are suffering from it. And all across Senegal, all the coastline, is the same story. Fishing communities used to have a lot of vibes. Climate change has come to destroy a bit of that, and it's ongoing.
So when you met Ibrahim, what was his emotional state like? Was it fear, hope that stood out to you most?
Ibrahima, I met him on my regular routine, visiting the seasides. As I mentioned, I would take on me before the Pulitzer to go around. If it's not a specific task, I would just go around and just meet people at the seaside, because I think it's in those informal conversations that you get a lot of information. And so in one of my routine visits, I saw a group of young men, and we were just discussing. And while everybody was quite engaged in the idea of traveling, of going abroad, of going to Spain, particularly, Ibrahima was just sitting there, and I asked him, "How about you?" He said, "I'm not interested in any of that. I would like to stay here and continue my fishing." And so he was interested in fishing octopus. So octopus, first of all, is a difficult kind of species to catch. The way they catch it is quite different from, the regular small fish that you catch by bulk. Is quite different. He had a very small boat. He showed me a very tiny boat, which I rowed with him. So here's a man who had everything ready for him to take on the same route as his friends, yet he did not want to go. And that alone is a story. He's a minority among, so many other story ideas that we can have in those fishing communities. And it was worth sharing. His life is worth sharing. And I got interested in it, and that's how I got to know him more.
What role, if any, do you think governments or international partners should play in addressing both the environmental and migration aspects?
The first thing that the government should do, every government, I should say, with local communities, with only one work in that area, concentrated on fishing, what they need to do is get closer to the communities and not decide on things that affect them. Because no matter what decision they make, even if it is to develop, the sector, what happens is that these fishing communities are still attached to their artisanal ways of fishing. So they need to give them alternatives and discuss those alternatives with them, not just come up with budgets and just come up with projects, but talk it through with them. Migration is a human right. And that people who try to leave their land or their country is not about wanting to disturb other countries. It's about the right to see their opportunities elsewhere until they find those opportunities back home.